I never thought turning 40 would feel like stepping into a slaughterhouse disguised as a backyard barbecue. My husband, Mark, had promised the perfect surprise party: catered ribs, craft beers flowing like the Mississippi, and our twins, Riley and Harper, home from college to toast my reinvention decade. But as the screen door creaked open and he waltzed in with them, his colleagues from the firm, I knew the ribs would taste like ash. There she was, his secret wife, Elena, clinging to his arm like kudzu on a crumbling fence, her fake lashes batting at me over a bottle of rose. And trailing behind, a sullen teenage boy who could only be the son Mark had hidden for 15 goddamned years. That's when I saw it in his eyes, not regret, not even a flicker of shame, but that same oily gleam he'd flashed the night he begged me to lie for him, to bury the body of his mistakes so deep even the FBI couldn't dig it up. Avery, baby, he whispered as the crowd hushed. Meet the family I built when you weren't looking. The twins froze on the porch, their faces twisting from confusion to fury. And in that split-second silence, Harper's voice sliced through like a switchblade. Dad, we know about the embezzlement, and the affair, and how Mom went to prison for you. The air in our sprawling McMansion in suburban Atlanta hung thick as Georgia humidity that July evening, the kind that sticks to your skin and makes every breath feel like a confession you can't take back. I'd spent the morning primping like it was my prom night, blonde highlights touched up at the salon on Peachtree, a sundress from that boutique in Buckhead that made my hips look less like I'd birthed twins and more like I'd conquered them. 40 wasn't old. It was freedom, Mark had said over breakfast, his hand lingering too long on my thigh under the oak table we'd splurged on after his big promotion at the firm. Lies have a way of building empires, don't they? The guests trickled in around 6, my yoga crew from the neighborhood, a few sorority sisters who'd driven down from Athens, and Mark's poker buddies from the country club, all nursing IPAs and pretending not to notice how the ice in the cooler was melting faster than my illusions. Riley manned the grill, flipping burgers with that easy grin he inherited from his father, the one that could charm a judge or a juror, whichever the situation demanded. Harper hovered nearby, scrolling her phone, her dark curls tied back in a ponytail that screamed, I have my shit together. Unlike you, Mom. They were 18 now, off at Emory on scholarships I'd clawed from night shifts as a paralegal while Mark networked. God, I loved them. They were the only pure thing in this farce of a life. Mark arrived fashionably late, as always, his Tesla purring into the driveway like it owned the place. I heard the doors slam, plural, and my stomach did that little flip it always did when he pulled one of his surprises. Last year, it had been a hot air balloon ride over Stone Mountain. The year before, tickets to see the Braves crush the Mets. This time, as I smoothed my dress and stepped onto the porch, the world tilted. Elena was first, mid-30s, all spray tan and Lululemon, her hand tucked possessively into Mark's elbow. She had that Southern Belle smile, the kind that hides arsenic in sweet tea. And behind her shuffled a kid, maybe 14, with Mark's jawline and a hoodie pulled low over eyes that darted like he was casing the joint. Avery, darling, Mark boomed, loud enough for the whole yard to hear. This is Elena, my associate from the Charlotte office. And her son, Tyler. They're in town for a conference. Thought it'd be fun to crash your bash. The yard went pin drop quiet. My yoga friend Lisa choked on her Pinot Grigio, and Riley dropped the spatula into the coals with a hiss. Harper's phone clattered to the deck. Elena extended a manicured hand, her rings glinting like warning signs. So thrilled to finally meet the wife who's kept Mark on his toes all these years. Happy birthday, sugar. I shook it because what else do you do when your husband's side chick gatecrashes your milestone like it's a kegger? Her palm was cool, clammy, and I swear I caught a whiff of the same Chanel No. 5 Mark used to spritz on my pillowcases during his late nights. Tyler mumbled something and slunk toward the cooler, avoiding my gaze. Associate.
Right.
Because in Mark's world, family was just another line item on the expense report. The party lurched back to life on autopilot, forced laughter, clinking glasses, someone cranking up Luke Combs on the Bluetooth speaker. But I couldn't shake it. That itch under my skin like I'd swallowed a hive of yellow jackets. Mark had always been a climber, born in a double-wide outside Macon. He'd lawyered his way to partner at Hargrove and Associates by 35, whispering sweet nothings to clients and cutting corners sharper than a switchblade. We'd met at a UGA tailgate. Him in his red and black jersey. Me cheering for the Bulldogs like my life depended on it. He was charm incarnate, promising the white picket fence, the 401k, the minivan hauls to Disney. And I believed him. Because who doesn't when love tastes like moonshine and possibility? But the cracks started showing 5 years in, right after the twins. Sleepless nights turned to suspicions, the extra phone buzzing under the seat of his Escalade, the hotel charges on statements he swore were client dinners. I'd confronted him once, in the garage with the door down and the kids asleep upstairs. It's nothing, Ave, he'd said, pulling me close, his breath minty with CoverGirl. Just stress. The firm's pushing me for that senior partner spot. And I'd let it go. Because that's what you do when you're knee-deep in diapers and dreams. Then came the real fracture, 2018. The year the feds knocked on our door at dawn. Badges flashing like lightning over the Chattahoochee. Mark's firm was tangled in a Ponzi scheme, millions siphoned from retirees' nests, funneled through shell accounts in the Caymans. He was the architect, the golden boy who'd inked the deals and shredded the evidence. But when the heat cranked up,
He pointed the finger at me.
Avery handled the books, he told the investigators, his voice steady as a pulpit preacher. She must have cooked them.
Me.
The stay-at-home mom who'd trusted him with the checkbook since Harper's first fever. I could have ratted him out. Spilled the emails. The late-night calls to offshore numbers I'd overheard. But the twins, God. They were 8. With gap-toothed smiles and soccer cleats still muddy in the hall. Mark swore it'd ruin them. That a plea deal would bury it all. Take the fall for me, baby, he'd whispered in the holding cell, his fingers pressing mine through the glass. I'll make it right. New life. New money. For us.
So I did.
Sign the papers. Pled guilty to fraud. Did 18 months in federal lockup outside Birmingham. White-collar wing. But still, the kind of place where trust is a shank wrapped in barbed wire. Mark visited twice a month, bringing drawings from the kids. Tears in his eyes. You're my hero.
Ave.
This changes nothing. Out on good behavior. I came home to a remodeled kitchen and a husband who smelled faintly of someone else's perfume. The firm had promoted him. Of course. Loose lips sink ships, but loyal ones build yachts.
Now.
Watching Elena laugh at one of Mark's golf stories, her hand on his knee, Tyler inhaling hot dogs like he hadn't eaten in days, I felt the old rage simmer, bubbling up like sweet tea left too long in the sun. Riley sidled up, his apron singed. Mom? Who's that? I forced a smile. The one I'd practiced in the mirror during conjugal visits. Just Dad's work friends.
Honey.
Grab me a beer? He nodded. But Harper was already on it, her thumbs flying over her screen. She'd always been the sharp one, the girl who dissected arguments in debate club like a surgeon with a grudge. As the sun dipped low, painting the yard in bruised purples, she pulled me aside by the azaleas. I found something, she hissed, shoving her phone under my nose. Screenshots. Elena's Facebook. Tagged in posts from a beach house in Myrtle, Mark grinning beside her. Tyler building sandcastles. Dates back to 2010. Before the Ponzi hit. And this. A bank transfer. Time-stamped last month. $50,000 from Mark's bonus account to an LLC in Elena's name. My throat closed like a rusted trap.
How?
Followed his VPN trail. College perks.
Mom.
Her eyes, my eyes. Fierce and unyielding, narrowed. He's been playing you since before we were born. Elena's not an associate. She's his wife. In South Carolina. Bigamy's a felony. You know. The party blurred around us, laughter like shattering glass. Fireworks popping early over the neighbor's fence. Riley joined us then, his face pale as the moon rising. I hacked his email. There's more. The Ponzi? He pinned it on you to cover for her. She was laundering the cash through her salon chain.
Mom.
He recorded you confessing, faked it, but it's airtight. Betrayal isn't a single stab, it's a slow bleed. Years of I love yous, turning to hemlock in your veins. Mark had built a shadow life while I rotted in a 6x8, trading my freedom for his facade. And now, on my birthday, he dragged it into the light like a trophy. Harper gripped my arm. What do we do? I looked across the yard at him. Mark. Mid-laugh. Elena's head on his shoulder. Tyler oblivious. Stacking plates. The twins flanked me, their warmth the only anchor in the storm. We end it, I said, voice steady for the first time in years. But not with screams. With truth. The kind that sticks. As the cake came out, chocolate fudge. My favorite. Candles flickering like jury summons, we gathered round. Mark raised his glass, eyes locking on mine with that predatory shine. To Avery, the rock of our family. Couldn't do it without you. The yard echoed his toast. But Riley and Harper exchanged a glance, dark as midnight deals. My hand trembled on the knife, but not from fear. From the weight of what's coming. 40 wasn't reinvention. It was resurrection. The knife hovered over the cake, its serrated edge catching the string lights like teeth in a grin. 40 candles, 2 sets of 20. Mark had joked earlier. For the 2 lives we'd built together.
Now.
It felt like a pyre. I sliced down, the blade parting chocolate and cream with a wet schlick that turned a few stomachs. Elena clapped like a debutante at a cotillion, her voice honey-dipped venom. Oh, Avery, you must share your secret for staying so
composed.
Mark says you're a saint.
Saint.
The word landed like spit on a grave. I'd been his scapegoat, his silent partner in crime, while she played house in a Charleston row home, funded by the blood money I'd laundered in my name. The Ponzi had netted Mark 7 figures before it cratered. Widows from Savannah to Augusta left penniless. Their 401(k)s vaporized in a blink. I'd signed the affidavits, stared down the prosecutor with dry eyes, because Mark swore the kids would eat the fallout. They're innocent. Ave. Like you. But Elena? She'd been the ghost in the machine, wiring funds to her business ventures while I balanced the books blind. I passed slices around, my smile a rictus mask. Tyler took his with a grunt, retreating to a lawn chair. Earbuds in, whirled out. Kid looked haunted, like he knew the script but hated his lines. Riley leaned in as he served Mark, whispering something that made my husband's jaw tick. Harper hovered at my elbow, her phone buzzing silently, text to a contact labeled Tech Ghost, some Emory hacker buddy who'd cracked Mark's cloud backups like a piñata at a quinceanera. The night deepened, fireflies winking like snitches in the bushes. Lisa cornered me by the fire pit, her wine glass sloshing.
Avery.
Honey, that woman's giving off more side-eye than a Real Housewife audition. And the boy, Lord. He looks just like Mark at that age. You okay? I sipped my Chardonnay, the oak notes bitter as regret. Peachy.
Lee's.
Just Mark being Mark. She'd been there through the trial, smuggling contraband lipstick into visiting hours, texting memes to keep me sane. If anyone suspected, it'd be her. But I waved it off, steering her toward the dessert table. No cracks tonight. Not yet. Mark pulled me onto the deck for a private toast, his arms snaking around my waist like ownership papers. The yard sprawled below, guests milling like cattle at auction.
See?
Told you it'd be epic, he murmured, nuzzling my neck. His cologne mixed with Elena's floral, a toxic bouquet. Elena's harmless. Old flame. Needed a place to crash. Tyler's a good kid, you'll love him. Love him. Like the twins? Like me? I twisted in his grip, forcing levity. Flame.
Huh?
Must have been some blaze to hide it this long. His laugh rumbled, but his eyes scanned the crowd, always calculating odds, like a bookie at the Derby. Down below, Harper caught my gaze, nodding toward the garage. Riley was already there, fiddling with Mark's Tesla on his phone, some app that mirrored the dash cam. The pieces clicked. The surprise wasn't Elena. It was us. We'd planned it weeks ago. After Harper's midnight call from the dorm. Mom, I saw Dad at a parent-teacher conference in Columbia. With her. And the boy called him Pops. I'd laughed it off at first, gaslighting myself, the way battered wives do in those Lifetime movies set in cookie-cutter colonials. But then the email surfaced. Love letters from 2009. Mark to Elena. You're my real future.
Babe.
Avery's just the cover. And the kicker, a forged audio. My voice admitting to the fraud. Time-stamped during my prison stint. He'd planted it with the DA's office as insurance, in case I ever flipped. The twins had raged. Harper pacing our kitchen like a caged panther. Riley slamming cabinets until the hinges groaned. We take him down, he'd said, voice cracking. Not for you, Mom, for what he stole from us. I'd nodded, numb.
But inside?
A phoenix clawed free from the ashes of my 30s. Revenge isn't hot, it's cold fusion. Atoms splitting in silence.
Now.
As Mark droned about his next big case, some merger that'd line our pockets with platinum, I slipped away, joining the twins in the garage's dim glow. The Tesla's screen flickered to life under Riley's touch, footage from last week's drive. Mark and Elena in the front, Tyler's shotgun, laughing over takeout from Waffle House. Your mom's gonna flip when she finds out, Elena says. Casual as checking the rear view. Mark chuckles.
Nah.
She'll play along. Always does. Took the rap like a champ. Harper hit pause. her finger white-knuckled. We stream this at the toast. Live. To everyone. Including the firm's board, Riley's got their emails queued. My heart hammered like bass at a trap concert. Controversial? Hell. It'd torch bridges from here to the Atlantic. Mark's career, poof. Elena's facade, shattered. Tyler, collateral in a war he didn't start. And me, vindication. But at what cost? The yard held our life. The playset where the twins learned to swing. The fire pit of esmores and stories. Burning it felt like arson on my own doorstep. But then Tyler wandered in, hoodie up, grabbing a soda from the mini fridge. He froze, eyes flicking between us. You guys okay? Looks intense. Harper softened, always the empath.
Yeah. Kid.
Just. Family stuff. He shrugged, but lingered.
Popping the tab.
My mom's not who you think. She tells me stories about Dad, your dad, like he's some hero. But I saw the emails once. The money. The lies. His voice dropped, adolescent crackle giving way to something raw. He promised to tell you all. After my birthday next month. The garage spun. Tyler knew. 15. And he'd been briefed like a junior partner in Daddy's deceit. I crouched, meeting his gaze, Mark's gaze. But softer. Unscarred. What do you want? Tyler? Out of this mess.
He swallowed.
Adam's apple bobbing. I dunno. A real family?
Not this.
Double life crap. A tear escaped. Swiped quick. Boy wasn't scheming. He was sinking. Riley clapped his shoulder. Brotherly. Stick with us.
Man.
We're rewriting the script. Back outside. The party's pulse quickened, guests dancing on the grass to Post Malone. Oblivious. Elena held court by the cooler, regaling Lisa with tales of spa weekends in Asheville. Mark scanned for me, brow furrowing when he spotted the huddle. Time's up. Harper synced her phone to the outdoor speakers. Riley cueing the video on the Tesla's hotspot. I climbed the deck steps, microphone in hand, the wireless one from last 4th of July's karaoke. Hey, y'all, I called, voice carrying like a revival tent sermon. Heads turned, smiles fading. Mark pushed through, Elena trailing like a shadow. Before we cut loose, I said, locking eyes with him, the kids have a birthday gift for me. And maybe for you too, Mark. The screen lit up on the projector we'd rigged for slideshows. Innocent pics of me at 40. Now hijacked. The video rolled. Mark's confession. Elena's complicity. The web of wires that had ensnared us all. Gasps rippled. Lisa's glass shattered on the patio stones. Tyler stepped forward, face pale but set, standing with the twins like sentinels. Elena's mask cracked. Mark. What the hell? But he shoved her aside, lunging for the projector. Too late. The firm's emergency alert pinged phones. Board members CC'd. Feds tagged via anonymous tip. You bitch, he snarled. Close enough, I smelled his fierce sweat. After everything? Everything. I laughed, bitter as black coffee. You stole my 30s. My name. My freedom. For her. For him. Tyler flinched, but held ground. The yard fractured, guests whispering, some bolting for cars, others frozen in schadenfreude. Harper hit play on the audio. My confession, dissected, proven fake by timestamps Riley'd forensicked. "Ladies and gentlemen," she announced, voice steady as a gavel. "This is the truth behind the man of the hour." Mark swung, wild, desperate, but Riley blocked, shoving him back. "Don't, Dad. It's over." Elena grabbed Tyler, dragging him toward the gate, but he yanked free. "Mom,
Stop.
I want this out." No more hiding. Sirens wailed distant, closing in like hounds on a fox hunt. Mark crumpled to his knees, the golden boy dethroned in his own kingdom. I towered over him, the knife from the cake still in hand, not for harm, but symbol. "Happy birthday to me," I whispered. "And goodbye to you." But as cuffs clicked hours later in the glow of floodlights, Mark Mirandized. Elena in tears. Tyler placed with child services pending investigation. Doubt crept in. The twins hugged me fierce. But Riley's eyes held shadows. Was it worth it? "Mom, we just blew up everything. Had we?" Vengeance tasted like vindication, but left ashes in your mouth. Tyler's lost weekends with a ghost dad. Elena's empire of pretense crumbled. And Mark, broken. But was he the villain? Or just a man chasing the American dream down a rabbit hole of greed? The night air cooled, fireflies scattering like fleeing accomplices. 40 felt less like resurrection, more like reckoning. And as the squad cars pulled away, I wondered if truth sets you free, or just leaves you picking up the pieces in the dark. Dawn broke over the cul-de-sac like a hangover, pink and punishing. The kind that exposes every wrinkle and regret. Squad cars had hauled Mark and Elena away around midnight. Blue lights strobing the azaleas like a bad acid trip at a frat party. Tyler rode with a social worker to a foster temp indicator, his hoodie zipped to his chin, avoiding my wave from the porch. "Call me anytime, kid," I'd yelled over the din. He nodded. Once, before the door slammed shut. Lost boy in a lost life. Just like I'd been at his age, before Mark's charm bulldozed my boundaries. The neighbors buzzed like hornets by sunrise, Karen from 2 doors down with her iced latte, pretending to walk Fido while rubbernecking our driveway, now cordoned with yellow tape. Lisa texted at 5 a.m., "Girl, CNN's got a blip. You need bail money? Wine? Therapist?" I replied with a thumbs-up emoji, American as apple pie, faking it till the feds sorted. Inside, the house reeked of stale cake and spilled rose. Confetti from the poppers crunching underfoot like brittle bones. Riley and Harper crashed on the sectional, limbs tangled in exhaustion. They'd held it together like pros, Harper fielding calls from the Emory Dean suspension pending ethics review, but her profs were emailing support. Riley syncing backups to a burner drive before the cops seized the Tesla. My babies turned Avengers overnight. I brewed coffee in the Keurig, strong black like the void in my chest, and sank beside them. Harper stirred first, her curls a halo of chaos. "Mom, you okay?" "Okay." The word tasted like lies, same as Mark's kisses. "Peachy. Harp. You?" She sat up, rubbing mascara streaks. I puked in the azaleas.
But yeah.
Seeing his face, priceless. Riley grunted agreement, but his eyes, Mark's eyes, held the fracture. We'd divided the kingdom, but at what price? The Ponzi widows would get restitution. Maybe headlines would vilify Mark as the poster boy for Wall Street wolves. Elena's salons? Auctioned off to pay reparations. Tyler? Bouncing between systems till 18. Unless I petition for guardianship. Controversial choice. Raise my husband's bastard son. The living reminder of the knife twist? The feds arrived at 8, crisp suits and clipboards, turning our living room into a deposition den. Agent Ramirez, a no-nonsense Latina from the Atlanta field office, flipped through Riley's printouts. MS. Caldwell, this is ironclad. The audio forgery? Sloppy work for a partner. We've got warrants out for the firm's servers. She eyed the twins, softening a fraction. You kids did good. Whistleblowers get protections now. Post-Snowden perks. Protections. Like the ones that had kept me breathing in Birmingham. Trading commissary smokes for silence? I nodded. Signing statements till my wrist cramped. What about me? The original plea? Exoneration's on the table. DA's office is scrambling. Your record gets wiped. Back pay from the firm. But it'll take months. Years. Maybe. Her pen tapped. And the boy, Tyler's asking for you. Says you're the only one who didn't lie to his face. The words hit like a gut punch. Tyler, with his furtive glances and half-smiles, seeing through the charade faster than I had. Mark had groomed him as heir apparent, weekend warrior in a world of weekends only. But last night, in the chaos, he'd chosen sides, ours. Or maybe just survival. By noon, the house emptied, yoga crew with casseroles, Southern love language for bless your heart. Sorority sisters wiring Venmo for a lawyer fund. The twins retreated to their rooms, Harper doom-scrolling true crime pods for tips, Riley gaming to numb the adrenaline crash. I wandered the backyard, kicking confetti into the grass. The fire pit cold and accusing.
40.
I'd envisioned cruises to the Keys. Maybe a novel about redemption, chick lit with teeth. Not this, a tabloid footnote. Duped housewife exposes hubby's double life. My phone buzzed, unknown number. I answered, half expecting a reporter. Avery? It's Elena. The line crackled, her voice stripped of bell effect. Don't hang up.
Please.
Tyler, he's scared shitless. They're talking juvie eval. But he's clean.
I swear.
The money. It was for him. Cancer treatments when he was little. Mark fronted it, but the scheme spiraled. I never meant. Spare me. I cut in, but softer than I felt. You knew about me. The prison time. Silence. Then a sob. He said you'd never know. That you weren't on it.
God.
Avery. I was 25, drowning in bills. He was the savior. Her breath hitched. But Tyler? He's innocent. Like your kids. Like my kids. The parallels stung. A mirror to my own blind loyalty. Elena was a monster. She was me. A decade earlier, trapped in the amber of Mark's promises. What do you want? I asked, sinking onto the porch swing. Fight for him. You're the stable one now. I can't.
Click.
Line dead. The swing creaked, chains rusty from neglect. Stable. After 18 months in the pen, rebuilding from scratch, but Tyler's face flashed, vulnerable.
Adrift.
Controversial as hell. Adopt the fruit of betrayal. Raise it as my own? The twins would riot. Or maybe not. Riley'd taken to him last night, trading 4-night tips. Harper? She'd analyze it like a debate topic. Nature versus nurture. Forgiveness versus folly. Afternoon brought the twist, the one that'd haunt cocktail hours from Buckhead to Beverly Hills. Mark's lawyer called, Voice oiled as his client schmooze. Avery. He's offering a deal. Full confession. Names the cartel ties in the Ponzi big fish. Mexican money launderers. In exchange, you drop the bigamy charge. Let Elena skate on accessory. And Tyler stays with her.
Cartel.
Jesus. Mark hadn't just embezzled, he'd danced with devils. Smuggling cash through border salons. Dropping charges meant safety for us, for Tyler. But letting Elena walk? After she'd sipped rose at my expense? I paced the kitchen.
Phone hot in my palm.
The twins overheard, bursting in like a tag team. No way, Harper snapped. She's complicit. Riley, ever the pragmatist. But the cartel?
Mom.
That's hitmen, not headlines. We take the win.
Win.
The word mocked. Vengeance was a siren's call, sweet crash on jagged rocks. Mark's empire crumbled. Yes, but at the cost of Tyler's stability, Elena's half-assed motherhood,
And me.
forever the patsy who enabled it. Sunset painted the windows blood orange as I dialed Ramirez. Deal's off. I want full prosecution, bigamy, fraud, all of it.
Pause.
And file for Tyler's guardianship. He's family now. Her chuckle was wry. Bold move. MS. Caldwell. Judge'll love the optics. Prosecutor's dream or jury's nightmare.
Nightmare.
That's what it was. Gray areas swallowing black and white. Mark rotted in Fulton County, spilling guts for a plea. Elena faced indictments. Her salons seized. Tyler moved in provisional, awkward dinners of pizza and probes. Him thawing overboard games with the twins. Thanks, Aunt Avery, he mumbled once. The title a bridge over chasms. Months blurred, exoneration granted. A book deal dangled, ghostwriter pending. Therapy sessions unpacking the why I'd shouldered his sins, why forgiveness felt like failure. The twins thrived. Oddly, Harper interning at the DA's, Riley coding an app for fraud detection. Your fault, he joked. Lit a fire. But the twist lingered. The one that split dinner tables and Reddit threads. Was I hero or hypocrite? Taking Tyler in, redemption arc or revenge porn? Punishing Mark by erasing his mistake, right? Elena wrote from county lockup. Pleading visits. You're doing what I couldn't. Forgive me. I went once. Saw the hollows under her eyes.
Not yet, I said.
Maybe never. Mark's trial hit in spring 26. Circus of suits and spectators. He took the stand, eyes locking on mine across the oak benches. Avery was my anchor, he testified, voice cracking for the jury. I betrayed her worst.
But she
chose mercy.
Lies.
Still, but laced with truth. The cartel fell. Dominoes of indictments toppling narcos from Tijuana to Atlanta. Mark got 25. No parole, enough to ponder his sins in a 6x8 of his own. We sold the McMansion. Bought a Craftsman in Inman Park, cozier.
Creakier. Ours.
Tyler bloomed. Braces glinting at soccer tryouts. Calling me mom, tentative as a truce. The twins teased him merciless, but pulled him into their orbit. Birthdays now? Low-key. Ribs on the grill, Riley's domain. No surprises but the good kind, Harper's law school acceptance. Tyler's stray days. 43 now. I sip coffee on that porch swing, watching fireflies reclaim the yard. Vengeance didn't heal, it scarred, but beautifully. Mark's ghost whispers doubts. Who's the real villain? The betrayer or the enabler? Elena's letters stack unanswered. A debate for another decade. Readers, because yes, the book's out. Climbing charts like kudzu, argue in forums. Team Avery. The Phoenix. Team Mark. The flawed everyman. Even Team Tyler. The innocent casualty.
Me?
I choose gray. Life's no binary. No clean kills. It's the slow burn. The unexpected kinships forged in fire. And as Tyler shouts goal from the park across the street, the twins cheering ragged. I think maybe that's the real surprise. Not the fall, but the rising. Together, fractured but fierce.